Hello, and welcome back to Classic Times. Today, I'll be going through stage 27 of the Cambridge Latin course, and I'll be explaining the topics of indirect commands and result clauses. So firstly, let's revisit direct commands, which we met in Book 1. So here are a few examples. Redite, go back, contendite, hurry, and fuge, run away. And in each one of these examples, an order or command is being given. These are known as direct commands. So now let's have a look at indirect commands. So Latin uses the subjunctive to express a command in reported speech. An indirect command is formed with a command verb, ut, and a subjunctive. So an example of a direct command would be go away, but an indirect command would be he told them to go away. And a quick tip, in an indirect command, ut is translated to mean to, not in order that. So now let's have a look at result clauses. So result clauses express the result of a previous state of affairs, and they're formed with a word of extent plus the main verb plus ut plus a subjunctive. And an example in English is the crowd was so great that it filled the room. And of course we'll have a look at some more examples in Latin of both indirect commands and result clauses later in this video. And finally, before we move on to the vocab, here are those aforementioned words of extent, which unfortunately you'll have to learn. Tam, so. Tantus, so great. Talis, of such a kind. Tot, so many. Adeo, so much. And ita, such or in such a way. Feel free to pause the video if you would like to have a closer look at those words of extent. So let's move on to having a look at some more vocab. Adeo, just as we've seen, means so much or so greatly. Antea, before. Apparere, to appear. Ardere, to burn. Comes is a comrade. Gaudere, to rejoice. Ignarus, unaware. Imperare, to order. Incendere, to burn, same as ardere. Insidiae, a trap or an ambush. Iusum is an instruction. Manus, this has a couple of meanings, either a hand or a band of men. Nocere, to hurt or harm. Praeceps, headlong. Premium is a prize or reward. Proximus means nearest. Qualis, what sort of. Sub means under. Tacitus means quiet or silent. And tantus means so great. So now let's have a look at a few examples of indirect commands. Salvius cogidubno imperavit ut ad aulam rederet. Salvius ordered Cogidubnus to return to the palace. Melissa Grumioni persuasit ut caenam optimam coquere. Melissa persuaded Grumio to cook an excellent dinner. Milites senem monuerent ut in oppido maneret. The soldiers warned the old man to stay in the town. And you'll notice in each one of these examples, there is a command verb highlighted in brown fonts, ut, which is marked in green fonts, and a subjunctive in purple font. And in each one of these English translations, ut has been translated with the word to. Now, let's have a look at a few examples of result clauses. Tamiratus erat Salvius ut servum verberaret. Salvius was so angry that he hit the slave. Quintus gladiatores videre ad deo cupebat ut ad amphitheatrum festinaret. Quintus was wanting to see the gladiators so much that he hurried to the amphitheatre. Tantus erat clamor ut Quintus dormire non posset. The uproar was so great that Quintus was not able to sleep. And in each one of these sentences, I've highlighted the four main components of a result clause. And ut, in this case, has been translated with the word that, instead of the word to, which is how you would translate an indirect command. So just to reaffirm, the word ut has various meanings depending on its usage. So in a purpose clause, you could translate it with in order that. In a result clause, we would translate it with the word that, and in an indirect command, you would translate it with the word to. So you need to work out, first of all, what type of sentence it is, so you know how to translate ut accordingly. Okay, so I'd now like you to have a go at translating the following four sentences. So pause the video and attempt these four. Now, let's go through the answers. Liberi patrem oraverunt ut pecuniam sibi daret. The children begged their father to give money to them. Legatus militibus imperavit ut redirent. The commander ordered his soldiers to go back. Caledonii tot milites viderent ut maxime timorent. The Scots saw so many soldiers that they were very much afraid. Tot servos habebas ut eos numerare non posses. You were having so many slaves that you were not able to count them. So if you managed to achieve 100%, that is a very impressive score. Well done. If you managed to get 2 or 3 right, that is still really good going. Keep it up. And if you only managed to achieve 1 right, haven't quite hit it on this occasion, but keep going with it. I'm sure you'll get a result next time. See what I did there? Result? Never mind. So now, let's have a look at the first few lines of the story in Horeo from the CLC. Modestus et Strithio e carcere egressi ad Horeum fugerant per additum angustum repserant et in Horeo celati manabant. Centurio cum portas celarum apertas carceremque desertum vidisset. Iratissimus erat. Modestus and Strithio, having gone out of the prison, fled to the barn. They crawled through a narrow opening, and having hidden in the barn, were staying there. The centurion, when he had seen the gates of the cells open and the empty prison, was very angry. Militibus imperavit ut modestum et Strithionem caparent. Milites tamen, quamquam per tota castra quaerabant, eos invenire non poterant, illi duos dies manserunt calati, tertio die modestus, tam miser erat ut rem diutius vere non posset. He ordered the soldiers to capture Modestus and Strithio. The soldiers, however, although they were searching through the whole camp, were not able to find them. They remained hidden for 2 days. On the 3rd day, Modestus was so miserable that he was not able to bear the situation any longer. And I'm afraid I'm going to leave it there. So if you want to find out what happens next, you're going to have to wait until you cover it in class, or translate it yourself, of course. Sorry about that. But I don't want the video to drag on too long. So we've now covered stage 27 of the Cambridge Latin course. So let's summarise. Indirect commands. So an indirect command is formed of a command verb plus ut plus the subjunctive, and ut is translated to mean to. For example, he told them to leave. And result clauses, well, these consist of a word of extent, and we had a look at those in a table earlier, plus a main verb, plus ut, plus a subjunctive. And ut, in this case, is translated with the word that. For example, the uproar was so great that everyone heard it. Thanks a lot for joining in, and join me in my next video where I'll be covering stage 28 of the Cambridge Latin course.